What if the most terrifying monsters aren't lurking in dark alleys, but growing silently beneath the floorboards of your own body, and the only person who can name them is a doctor trained to see death before it sees you? In Cancer Under the Carpet, Dr. Sonya Naryshkin delivers a medical memoir that transforms pathology from clinical detachment into profound human witness, proving that true healing begins not with cure, but with the courage to look directly at what we've been taught to hide. This isn't merely another illness narrative or physician's diary. It's a luminous, emotionally precise exploration of diagnostic intimacy, where every slide holds a life story and every diagnosis carries the weight of unspoken grief. From the first hushed narration, listeners are welcomed into the quiet sanctuary of the lab, where science meets soul, making every moment of recognition feel like both burden and benediction. Perfect for fans of narrative medicine and stories that honor suffering without spectacle, this audiobook serves up relentless authenticity, quiet reverence, and a protagonist whose journey from microscopic observer to compassionate advocate resonates with anyone who's ever felt unseen in their pain. When pathologist Sonya Naryshkin begins her residency, she expects to master tissue patterns, not to confront how her own family's silent cancer history shapes every diagnosis she renders. But as she navigates frozen sections and fraught conversations with oncologists, she realizes this work isn't about identifying disease, it's about restoring dignity to lives reduced to case numbers. Naryshkin masterfully avoids reducing patients to specimens or herself to detached expert. Instead, she crafts a narrative where microscopy becomes an act of empathy, where consent is negotiated through careful language, and where truth-telling requires honoring uncertainty as much as certainty. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional precision, capturing Naryshkin's disciplined focus softening into genuine presence, while secondary voices shift subtly between clinical urgency and human vulnerability, making every report feel loaded with unspoken care. You don't just hear the diagnoses, you feel the seismic shift of a physician learning that seeing clearly means seeing wholly. What elevates Cancer Under the Carpet beyond typical medical memoirs is its nuanced portrayal of pathology as relational practice rather than technical skill. Naryshkin isn't merely reading slides, she's confronting how medical training taught her to separate mind from heart, challenging the notion that objectivity requires emotional erasure. Her relationships evolve through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silence with grieving families during result disclosures, setting boundaries that protect both compassion and sustainability, and defending patient narratives against systems that prioritize efficiency over understanding. Supporting characters add vital texture: veteran pathologists whose wisdom masks burnout, nurses whose advocacy bridge gaps in care, even the microscope itself, rendered a sacred instrument whose lenses reveal not just cells, but stories. Every interaction reinforces the book's core truth. In medicine built on distance, proximity is rebellion, and attention is the highest form of treatment. Even the diagnostic details serve thematic depth, with staining techniques mirroring emotional clarity, and margin assessments becoming metaphors for honoring wholeness amid fragmentation. For audiobook listeners, this production is pure auditory sanctuary. The narrator embodies Naryshkin's evolving perspective with remarkable range, from measured professionalism to trembling openness during moments of breakthrough, while supporting characters are distinguished through vocal textures that honor complexity without caricature. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming intimacy. Distant lab hums marking temporal anchors, rain against hospital windows during vulnerable reflections, the hushed click of slide trays syncing with breath during acts of witnessing, all anchor systemic stakes in sensory reality. Pacing mirrors the rhythm of diagnostic work, deliberate during analysis and integration, then gently accelerating as external pressures collide with internal reckonings. Whether you're commuting through daily routines or sitting in twilight stillness, the audiobook creates a portable space where slowness feels sacred and presence feels like gift. Its storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a journey where healing isn't about fixing what's broken, but about remembering what was always whole. Ultimately, Cancer Under the Carpet redefines medical memoir by centering female embodiment within scientific frameworks. It satisfies cravings for intellectual rigor and emotional payoff, while delivering substantive commentary on diagnostic violence, patriarchal medicine, and the radical act of choosing humanity over hierarchy. No prior medical knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether science can coexist with tenderness, or if true expertise requires being seen when you're unseen, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful diagnosis is simply saying, "I see you." Press play, step into the light of the microscope, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by silence, voices still find ways to be heard. Your next essential read isn't waiting in grand revelations. It's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to look closely, kindly, and completely.